I'm Corbett Wall with DV Auction, here with your feeder flash for Thursday, February the 16th, brought to you in part by Livestock Risk Services. That's Dakota Moss there in Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. He's your LRP specialist. Him and his other agents that you see here listed. Call him and check out to see what you can lock your cattle in, including yearlings locked in for around 214, costing about $6 a hundred, and that's for fall. And yearlings weighing from 600 all the way up to 1,000 pounds. How about calves from 600 pounds and down, locked in at $2.30 a pound for less than $6 a hundred for late summer? Those look pretty shiny. I know we're going up fast, but you might wish you'd have dallied up to one of those. But those livestock policies that USDA has, and they've been around longer than we've really realized it, but they're just now getting more popular and people are learning how to use them. But give them a call at Livestock Risk Services to see how those programs could work for you. And like I said, those livestock policies are something that the government has done that has actually helped cattle producers. So many times the government does things that are stupid. The latest one of those that I saw was Texas Animal Health Commission has recently come out, and they're wanting to increase the awareness for cattle dealers in their record keeping requirements. This would be for cattle dealers, order buyers, shippers, the like, and they said we want to make sure that you guys are doing a good job on your record keeping. Okay, so what's the main things that's needed for the record keeping? Well, the first one is name and address of the buyer and seller. Well, that's natural. The second would be the country of origin. Well, being in Texas, that would be normal too. The third one is the number of animals. That would be important. But then the fourth one is a description of each animal, including the sex, age, color, breed, brand, and individual identification of every single animal in the shipment. Wow. So I was asking some guys there, some order buying friends of mine, now that just means like a load of black baldy steers, right? No, they want an individual identification for every animal. Now, they're going to get that straightened out, but that's just how foolish some of these things can be that come from the government, because there's just not that many people that really understand the livestock business. But we're still gaining. It seems like in the last several weeks here, as we're going through this rally in all classes of cattle, we'll get a little bit more money at the very tail end of the week on the fat cattle, and then starting out Monday, your buyers want to be more conservative. They really don't want to launch out there and start new highs, but they just want them. And so then the orders get a little bit better and a little bit better, and by the time we reach the middle of the week, we're seeing new highs again. And we saw new highs for yearling feeders, new highs for replacement heifers, new highs for stocker type calves again on Wednesday, and you kind of see that going forward. But it's just crazy as we're gaining through this, and we're doing this a whole lot more in order than we did back in 2014. If you remember that, I mean, it just gained bang, 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 and we were right there. But we're just going through this kind of methodically, and I think it's a healthier way to gain the kind of ground that we're gaining here in your cattle markets. But we saw some new highs on just a few fat cattle that sold, but I think it's probably enough to establish a market up there. But let's talk about your board for Wednesday. February live cattle futures were up 40 cents, 162.55 on February, and there's only about 8 more sessions in February. They've had about 10 contracts tendered for delivery, but they were demanded, so they basically went away. If your Packers don't come across with something close to 162, and indeed we did get 162 in Iowa, and I think we'll probably get 162 in the Southern Plains this week, but with your February live cattle at 162 and a half and a little bit more than that, that's pretty plenty up there. when they're right here at maturation of the contract. So 162.55 for current spot live cattle contracts, and that's a new high up there. April down 7 cents, but still at 164.60, and I think we'll run over that in April. But I've told you guys the last couple visits we're going to have some seasonal pressure come in. We'll see whether it's enough to hold this rallying market up that we've got going on right now. But your back months basically did nothing on live cattle, down a dime to up 15 cents. March feeder cattle were up 67 cents with lower corn at 187.32. April was up a quarter at 191.15. Back months were up 7 cents to up 60 cents. Your March corn contracts were down 6 cents at 6.76 1/4. March beans down 11 3/4 at 15.25 3/4. Fat cattle market, like I said, we haven't really established things, but I'm thinking we might be getting close. In the Midwest anyway, Iowa sells 2,700 head from 161 to 162. Hadn't really seen 162 direct basis. We've seen it in some fat cattle auctions in the Midwest, but that's pretty good on a Wednesday, and I think we'll sure be deep in the 162s or have a lot more of a move that way as we go forward, but probably won't see the Southern Plains trade till at least Friday, if not late Friday. But a few dress sales in Iowa at 254. Nebraska sold 2,500 head at 159, and I wouldn't be surprised if those were some cattle that had quite a bit of tag on them. But no sales in the Southern Plains as of yet, and of course Colorado's confidential. Box beef cutout values were higher, big, and we've been seeing your box beef cutouts recover this week, and it's not really time for them to, but they've been in kind of trying times the last few weeks, and all of a sudden come out of it this week. But remember, box beef cutout values, those are just basically the menu items that your packers fill out the price on them. May not be a lot of movement. There's not a lot of spot movement anyway, but they can pretty much set those anywhere they want to. Whether or not they're moving any product at that remains to be seen. But choice cuts up 361 on Wednesday afternoon at 275.67. Selects up 241 at 261.19. Your slaughter running at a good clip, 376,000 through the first 3 days of the week, 6,000 more than the previous week, 4,000 more than the same week a year ago. Talk about what else is going on. B&B building systems. Hoop buildings are the way to go to keep your cattle safe, your equipment covered, and your hay dry. B&B buildings are turnkey. They have a 20-year warranty. Check them out, guys. Go to bbbuildingsystems.com. Talk about your feeder cattle market, your real-time index on DV auction. Late in the day on Wednesday, sitting at 183.10, up 33 cents. So gaining ground. If you remember on Monday and Tuesday's RTI, we saw it back up a little bit. And on Wednesdays, we saw it gain ground. And like I said, you know, the orders just keep coming in. There are several cattle moving, but I've told you, some people are just reselling cattle. The cattle that they'd gotten bought early, they got those straightened out. They figure, shoot, I'm going to make more money on those cattle right now than I was planning on making, keeping them through the summer, or at least through the spring, so they're moving those cattle. So it's appearing that there's more cattle out there than there are. But I tell you what, cattle are a liquid asset. You can turn them into cash at least 6 days a week. And that's one of the great things about them. That's what I love about price transparency and you know, a negotiated trade in auction markets. Let's talk about your big sales on Wednesday. OKC West, El Reno, Oklahoma, 8,300 head there. Feeder steers were steady to $2 lower, and they were similar to that in the city, if you remember, on Monday. So that's kind of a regional thing there. Feeder heifers mostly steady. Calves were fully steady, with peewee calves weighing under 5, those little stockers $5 to $8 higher. But I thought this load of heavy steers sold really well in El Reno. 53 head, 917 pound steers bring $176, and that's as high as we see them anywhere in the country, even up in the northern plains where they typically sell the heavier feeders there. But how about winter livestock in Dodge City, Kansas? 2,000 head there. Steers were steady, heifers steady to $2 higher. Top quote out of Dodge City was 70 head of steers weighing 890 pounds at 181. Your Zoetta stickout sale of the day is one that you might not have expected, but it's Sidney Livestock Market Center. That's in eastern Montana, guys, and wow, what a sale did they have there. Look at this automated market report from Sidney, Montana. How about 704 steers weighing in the 5 weights, weighing 559 on the average, and a weighted average price at $228.05. Are you kidding me? Way the heck up there. 961 head of 6-weight steer calves in Sidney, Montana, average 648 with a weighted average price of $208.70. 856 head of 7-weight steers, average 737, weighted average price on those, on all of them, over 850 head of them, average price $191.05. How about your best tested weights of heifers? 414 head of 5-weight heifer calves, average 553, weighted average price on the heifer calves $205.71. And I got to tell you about the replacement heifers that they had there. Conradson Brothers had some replacement quality heifers in there. They sold in a couple different drags, but you see them on this automated marker report. 77 head of those replacement heifers, averaged 816 pounds with a weighted average price of $206.18. There was a jag of them that bring 202 and another jag that brings 208. Big time sale, Sidney Livestock Market Center in Sidney, Montana. Congratulations to them. Give you a couple individual quotes. How about Bassett Livestock Auction in Bassett, Nebraska? 52 steers weighed 647 at $226. But the biggest quote that I saw anywhere on Wednesday, your Macrison No BS top quote for the day, come out of Hub City Livestock in Aberdeen, South Dakota. DV auction customer, have been for a long time. They sold a load of green Black Angus steers there, 71 head of them, weighed 739 pounds at $205.25. And that's your feeder flash for Thursday.